there's nothing like the gift of desperation to get you honest. You know, there's one word that's the foundation of all recovery, and it's honesty. You know, without that, every step, you're missing out. I'm a drug addict and alcoholic. I lost my daughter for a year. I lost everything. And at 5 years sober, you know, I'd done a lot of making amends. I'd taken suggestions. I'd had some transformation in all of my relationships. The courage, to be honest, came from talking to other people with a story like mine.
Hey guys, welcome back to Unstoppable. Look, I'm excited to bring you a special friend today. We are celebrating a rebirth day, and you're going to love that more than anything else. Maddi Blanchard, welcome.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. You are a kingdom encourager in my life. This is such a privilege.
Thank you.
To give my heart a voice. And there's so many people that have poured into me, you being one of them. So thanks for having me.
Of course. I'm excited to talk to you. So today's a special day. We chatted, it was probably via text, probably a few months ago. Yeah. And I was like, you know, what are you going to do for your big special day, for your rebirth day? We'll get into that, why it's a rebirth day in a couple minutes. But what are you going to do for your big day? And you were like, I don't know. Maybe this, that. I said, maybe you should come on the show.
Yeah. Mind blown. Yeah. Heart blown.
Yeah. Because, you're now... The audience will learn more about you as the years progress, because obviously you've got a book in your heart that you want to get out.
That's right.
You've been actively helping a lot of folks behind the scenes for a number of years now.
That's right.
You've also been a very successful salesperson in your industry. You do quite well. So congratulations on that.
You.
But I think one of the things I'd love to talk about, if it's all right with you, is why is today a rebirth day?
Today is a rebirth day. So 7 years ago today, I got on a plane. I was willing. I'd just been intervened on by my ex-father-in-law, who I'm very close with. And I guess the family knew who to send, or God knew who to send, because it was him that had the conversation with me. At that point, so I'm a drug addict and an alcoholic. And at that point, I could not stop myself. I had flipped the switch. There is no going back from that for me, and for a lot of other addicts and alcoholics that I know. And that switch had flipped, and I was truly terrified. But my saving grace, my daughter McLean, she can't keep me sober.
Who came over here to
Who came
support
over
today?
here, and she's just stunning, heart and inside and out. But she was the saving grace for me. She was enough for the gift of desperation to hit me. I wanted to be a good mom. Mm-hmm. And I lost the ability to do that, through my drinking and using. And, I could not stop by myself.
Yeah.
And the right time, God, I turned to him, actually hit my knees about a week before. My ex-father-in-law intervened on me, and I said, this is not my life. This is not me. This is not my life. Mm-hmm. And whilst not being able to stop, and 7 days later, I was intervened on, and I just said, yes, I need help. Yeah. And that began the journey. They put me on a plane before I could change my mind. That's really important. So
talk to me about that. Why is that so important? Because I think there's a lot of folks out there that, they always say that most of us have some level of addiction.
Yeah.
For some it's TV, for some it's social media.
Of course.
I'm having a heck of a time stop using 5-hour energies recently. So, it's always a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But talk to me about why it's so important to take action before you have a chance to kind of talk yourself out of it.
Yeah. So I think there's that place of desperation where God is available. Mm-hmm. And you're so defeated that in the surrender you gain power. Mm-hmm. And turning to him, and by the way, higher power, whatever you would like to call it, him for me, in that place of defeat, which can pass, right? Mm-hmm. Because when we start to feel a little bit better, the mind can kick in, and maybe I can handle this. Maybe I can manage this. And the disease of alcohol and addiction will want to tell you that you can manage this, that this one day will be manageable. Mm-hmm. Because the last thing that disease wants you to do is quit.
Yeah.
So in that place of defeat, it's very important, or it was for me, that is when the intervening happens. Mm-hmm. Because I was truly terrified, truly defeated and surrendered. And so the quicker somebody accepts help and is willing to go somewhere, the sooner the better. Because as I said, you know, you maybe get 24 hours sober, or not sober really, but without drinking drugs in your system. You know,
well, technically there's probably still a little behind there.
Exactly. But when all of that kind of starts to wear off and you start to think, oh, I can handle this, you know, people don't go, and the willingness leaves. Yeah. And, you know, I'm grateful. I was surrounded by a family. So this is wild. So I married into a family that had dealt with addiction for a long time.
Oh, wow.
My ex-brother-in-law has a facility in Charlotte called the Blanchard Institute.
Really?
Yep.
You have never told me that before.
I know. You can't make it up. You cannot make it up. Like, he goes before me. He knows what I'm going to do. He's behind me, all of that. So, so they had been through it with my ex-brother-in-law, and he actually started and has a recovery place in Charlotte called the Blanchard Institute, and he's just phenomenal. And so I was surrounded by a family that understood addiction, that understood that it was not me. They call it Maddi Zilla.
Maddi Zilla, okay. All right.
Well, they got that from calling it Wardzilla. But when I am using and drinking, I literally, the part of the brain that is responsible for, you know, spirituality is shut down, and you are in your lizard brain. Yeah. And so the actions and the things that I say are not me. And I'm so much more than addiction. Yeah. I'm so much more than other illnesses I have been blessed with. But anyway, so they knew what to do is what I'm saying. Yeah. I was surrounded by people that knew what to do and loved me enough. And I was divorced. I was divorced at the time.
Out of curiosity, was that as related to the addiction, or were there other, like...
There were other things. Okay, yeah. There were other things.
I figured most times there are, but...
Yes, yeah. Gordon and I met when I was 21. I was traveling over here. I was a Bavarian waitress.
A Bavarian waitress?
Yeah, the dirndl and everything. And
were you like Busch Gardens or something?
Yeah, it was. Well, it was on the Outer Banks of all places, like right bang in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's beautiful, but on a barrier island, and I was a Bavarian waitress, and I was in a garden center called Nature's Harmony. And this Southern lady popped her head around the corner, and she said, "Wow, you need to experience a Southern wedding. She'll kill me. She'll kill me for that." That is not how she speaks, but that's my best Southern accent. Anyway.
Well, I can go even better than that, dadgummit. I can teach you about a Southern accent right now.
I love it. Oh my gosh, I love
Born and raised here.
Born and raised. Well, it's a beautiful place, and the Southern charm is definitely here. But she invited me to her friend's wedding, and she sent her son to pick me up. So we met when I was 21. I was queen of the geographical cure.
What's the geographical cure?
Oh, yes, the geographical cure. That is, I will be okay when I'm there,
but not here.
Not here.
Yeah, all right.
But wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. It took me a long time to learn that because I traveled around.
You can't outrun your fear and your stuff?
Oh, no.
Go figure.
I know,
it's
right?
Random.
Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. Some people learn it a lot faster. But so we were connected for about 5 years. I went back to the UK, we moved to London, went to Hong Kong, worked out there, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. But most people never leave their city. And Maddi has been all over the world. Just putting that out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I just packed a bag and went, you know, I just believed that if I could I think there was a level of like feeling like if there was some level of success in my life and maybe I could find it somewhere else, that I would be worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, and always knowing deep down I was a fraud. You know,
or feeling like you're a fraud.
Feeling like I'm a fraud. Yeah.
I don't think anybody is truly a fraud.
No.
I think I was listening to a meditation recently. I've got this little playlist that I use. It's called the Warrior's Meditation.
Did you send me that?
I think I did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I think I did. I like it so much because it says, I can share two opposing views at the same time.
Oh, I love that.
And it just means I'm processing.
Beautiful.
And the reason I say that is because I think it's a lot of times, I think people as a whole, we all want to do black and white. Like it's one way or the other.
Yes.
And so much of life is in the gray.
Yes.
So much of life is, I'm processing.
Yes.
Like, I just had this thing happen. I don't like this. I want to do this. How do I get there? But yet, a lot of us, because we don't look at it as processing, what we do is we say, well, because I'm not here, I'm worthless, or I don't have what I need, or where I want to go, or any number of things.
It's so beautiful. It's actually one of the tools that's in my book, the black and white list. And it was...
let's talk about that.
Yeah. I spent the first 5 years of recovery. You know, I'm in a program, and I went through kind of the timeline, the unmanageability, really looking at myself, taking full responsibility for my part in things. And at 5 years sober, you know, I'd done a lot of making amends. I'd taken suggestions. I'd, had some transformation in all of my relationships, apart from there was something lacking in myself. And there was still this self-deprecating part and very black and white thinking about, I'm a drug addict and alcoholic. I lost my daughter for a year. I lost everything. I didn't show up for my friends or family. It was like all these things that I'm capable of and that I've done. And my therapist pointed out to me that I was locked in black and white thinking. And so she said, I want you to list all of these beliefs and even facts, about myself and my life. And so I did that. I called her and I'm like, okay, what's next? What's next? And on the right-hand side, she had me write the positive and the gift. And so, yes, I'm an alcoholic and an addict, but it's given me a life beyond my wildest dreams. And when I was offered help, I took it. And I'm resilient and I'm courageous. And I lost my daughter, but my recovery has given me the tools to be a better mom. And I am able and to show up today, to show up with you, to show up with her. I'm able to be present, open, and curious. And I've been, so it was all this list, and so all of a sudden there was a balance. I wasn't just all of these things that were negative. And it's a beautiful thing. And so on the right-hand side, then, there's all these words that stand out, like resilient, strong, courageous, present. That is who I am. That is who I am. That's who I am.
It's interesting you say that, because most of us don't define ourselves by our truths. We always define ourselves by our limitations.
Exactly.
Right. I'm like 6 foot tall, not, so I'm the short guy, or I'm the bald guy, or I used to be the homeless guy, or any number of, I'm the. And I'm always trying to be cognizant of labels myself. And it's because I believe that what we speak into existence actually in many cases becomes a reality for us. 100%. So if I say I'm an insecure person, then your focus is on the insecurity. So then you just stay insecure.
Yes. Rather
than saying, well, I'm a courageous person. And then your focus goes on the courageous person. You become the courageous person.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One of the things I love about your journey, and you and I have been close friends now for probably, I think about 3 years.
Yeah, maybe even 4.
Yeah.
I know, it feels like all my life.
So
it feels like all my life.
Yeah. So, and I first met you as an amazing salesperson. My team brought you into, I guess you met him at a home show or something. Yeah. 'Cause you were, at the time you were selling magazine publications, and brought you in. And I remember being in awe of the presence that you carried.
Oh.
Like it was a very creative, very curious, very service-based, like servant heart style, like leadership kind of thing that you were carrying in that first meeting.
All God, by the way.
Say what?
All God, by the way.
Oh, I know. Cause you told, I won't ask you to put it on the show, but you told me a private story about where you were just before you came into the meeting. But, that started something pretty interesting from a friendship level, because when you started coming, then you came to one of our live events, and you had a couple of like pivotal times during the live event.
Amazing. Yeah.
So talk to me a little about maybe the importance of immersion. So putting yourself in an environment in which you can thrive.
I love that. I love the word immersion and being in an environment where you can thrive. Well, I think first of all, what comes to mind or heart is there has to be even just a glimmer of worthiness to be open to a place where you can thrive. And I think that my faith for me was the thing that gave me that lifeline, because I certainly had no worthiness. But I did believe that my, higher power believes that I am, and that I'm the daughter of this. This is all a bit.
We call it the daughter of the king. It's cool.
I'm the daughter of the star breather.
Yeah.
I am. And that was a lifeline for me. And you mean, immersion to opportunities like walking into Transform You Live, or being around people that are walking the same path. Is that's what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, they call it, the gift of desperation, GOD.
Okay. That's all right. That's a new one.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Great. That's great.
Gift of desperation.
So on my knees in surrender is where I'm willing to go wherever it is that I need to go to get help. And that happened to be, in the program that I'm in, or that happened to be walking through your doors for Transform You Live, being open, and being so defeated that actually I could say for the first time in my life, without fear, I don't know. Because my life is a wreck. Was a wreck. I mean, there's one thing to
you've come a long way. That's why we're celebrating today, girlfriend.
We are celebrating today.
We're celebrating today.
It's been a long
7
road.
years.
7 years, isn't that like the creation thing?
Yeah, it is. Rebirth.
Rebirth.
Yeah,
rebirth.
Well, one of the things I've always noticed about you is in any environment that you're in, you seem to be led by curiosity, and you're always taking notes. Yeah. That's one of the things I appreciate about you a lot, is that you don't set an expectation from a preconceived notion. You come in with the intent to hear and listen and kind of like invest in the moment. Right? You and I've had obviously lots of chats about curiosity.
Yes.
And I know I would say that's one of your core values. Right? And I actually think radical honesty and curiosity are probably your top two, from just knowing you as long as I have.
Speaking like you're just speaking my heart right now.
Right? I want to maybe help the audience appreciate the importance of curiosity, because I don't think there's enough curiosity in transformation. Most people are very rigid-minded. They're very like, I'm always going to do this. I'm always going to be this way. Like they're not open to the possibility of something new. So like, from your own words, why is curiosity such an important word for you?
Gosh, so curiosity is such an important word for me, because it's not about me, it's about the other person. And in that, there are all sorts of gifts. One of the biggest for me personally is I'm not anxious. There's no anxiety in curiosity, because it's not about me. Curiosity also gives me a heart to hear. And curiosity also right sizes me, because possibly, or most likely, there's something to hear. And my higher power speaks through everyone, even the person serving me in the grocery store. Like sometimes you're having, a sad day, or maybe I'm caught up with something, and then you just get a smile, or how are you? Or, so that's another thing. When I'm running around the world, my little world, I try to stay the three things, open, curious, and present.
Open, curious, and present.
Three things. Open, curious, and present.
Is that something you consciously do now, or is it something that's happening now subconsciously?
It's something that I've had the capacity to really practice the past 2 years. Up to 5 years sober. I struggled with some other things that really, I'd be either running around or, isolated, not doing well. And that's something that has been a gift to find, to get some freedom from.
How has curiosity changed you as a mother?
So this is a great question. So one of the things that curiosity has done as a mom is, like in the morning, if there's any parents out there, which I'm sure there are, and
there's probably a few.
There's a lot of parents out there. You know what it's like when the morning's happening. Maybe you're running late. Maybe they're running late. Maybe they haven't got all their stuff together.
Or they didn't do their homework.
They didn't do their homework. Maybe the dog's eating the homework. Maybe the Lululemon is in the dryer. It's not dry yet. All of these things.
I would say they're lucking out if they already have Lululemon in the dryer.
Right,
just
exactly.
That out there.
Well, her grandparents buy the Lululemon. So that's good. So, all of those things are happening now. What I've been able to practice, which has been really beautiful to experience. And by the way, this is not something I have been thought up by myself. There's no original thoughts here. There are gifts that have been passed to me, but to pause when agitated or doubtful, or to really just pause in those moments and be curious. Like, first of all, is it going to be the end of the world if we're late? Well, I'm just trying to stay alive every day. So that puts the bar's pretty low. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of freedom in that. Like, we're just grateful we're alive. But in those moments, to pause and be curious about Mac. And so Mac is McLean, my beautiful daughter. And so, I'll pause, I'll, surrender, let it go, and just think about what's the next thing that needs to be done. And so I'll go in and I'll say, Mac, what do you need help with? What can I do for you to make this? What can I do for you? What do you need help with? And, no, mommy. No, she doesn't really do that. No, she'll say, and then I'll think, what can I do? Well, she more than likely her snacks have not been made yet, and that's my fault. So I'll go and make those and get them ready. And then I'll go in and I'll say, what else can I do? Oh, can you get me this or whatever? And then all of a sudden we're connected. We're connected, and, the morning, we'll get there and it's okay. And things flow, and then we're on time magically, So I think curiosity of also when I'm having a rough day, because let's face it, we have ups and down days. Being curious about Mac's day is a way to get out of myself,
That's good. And build connection.
And just snuggle her,
Yeah.
If she'll let me.
It's funny
13 now. So.
Yeah, it's funny on the Instagram side. That's what you like to do most is share pictures of you guys just having moments
on our adventures.
Yeah, I love it. It's awesome. Yeah. I was also thinking about one of the other things that I've seen you do really, really well is you're radically honest, and maybe that's
TMI.
No, I mean,
I'm the queen of TMI.
Well, but the radical honesty, I think, is a telltale sign of humility. And I would dare say, after knowing as long as I have, humble confidence. You've come a long way. You've done a lot of really difficult things to get to where you're at. You're very successful now in your career. You're very successful from what I can see, as being a mom. You're doing a lot of really, really good things. And I think at the core attribute of that is this humble confidence that's coming from this radical honesty, right? I know that one of the more endearing qualities of getting to know you as a person has been historically this radical honesty, because the conversations can go anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's like brings excitement. It's like, all right, we were just talking about motherhood. Now we're talking about aliens and like, crop circles or whatever. So,
love it.
So anyway, like when you're thinking through that, how has radical honesty played a role in your recovery?
Gosh, that is just such a beautiful thing. I love those two words, radical and honesty. And, like I said before, there's nothing like the gift of desperation to get you honest. If I was going to have, there's one word that's the foundation of all recovery, and it's honesty. Without that, every step, you're missing out. And, I think, God, my higher power, knows his business. I think, the capacity to be honest, you have what you have when you have it. I think the longer I'm sober, the more I can see and be honest about. You can only, as long as I was honest to my true extent that I had the capacity at that time, it has opened doors, brought people in, and the radical part, is just that absolute taking responsibility for my life.
See, I think that's important.
Yes. Oh,
because I think most people don't take radical responsibility for their life. It's always somebody else's fault.
Oh, and there in lies the stuckness, you know.
Yeah.
If I'm looking at the other person, I'm stuck. I mean, you may as well like build your own prison, you know, and just sit in
I like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Just build the walls around you, you know. Are you happy in there?
Yeah.
You know, and not to sound harsh, but
well, I mean, the reality is that most people are in a self-induced prison and they have the keys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but radical honesty will open that gate. And I think the courage for that, who's here?
You're right.
The courage. Now, there's one, you know, it says like when two or more are gathered, God is here. And the courage, to be honest, came from talking to other people with a story like mine. Yeah. That was the courage. That was where the courage, you know, hearing another person say, I did that. Because
we always feel like we're alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And alone is where, it's dark. You know.
Let's talk about sobriety a little bit.
Sobriety.
And it's one of your favorite subjects.
Yes.
I know that you've recently, I don't know how recently, but recently enough, are now a sponsor for a sponsee now.
That's right.
So what has that process been like, shifting gears and kind of now you're on the other side trying to encourage someone else who's been where you are?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, so, you know, in the program that I'm in, it's suggested, you know, that, one of the biggest ways that we find relief is within service. And that service to other people that have been through the same thing that we have, and, you know, taking them through that program. And, you know, the first 3 years, there was so much self-deprecation that I didn't think I had anything to give. And so I didn't do that part of the program. I didn't put myself out there to be able to walk with someone else through this program. But I always had my own spiritual gangster that was walking me through. And finally, at 3 years sober, you know, I'd worked really hard to get everything back because I lost, number one, the most heartbreaking, I lost the capacity to be a mom and to make decisions, mother, you know, like any mom would. But I lost, you know, the house, the car, my stuff. So when I got back to Raleigh, or when I got to Raleigh, you know, Mac and I were living in this bedroom under this couple's house, and we had a sofa bed and we both slept in together, and I had about 50% of the time, and we were like pigs in muck. We were so happy to be back together and we were having a great time. But we, you know, and then I worked really hard to get everything back. So we got the apartment, I got a job, I was getting everything back. And then 3 years sober, I've gotten everything back, and obviously Mac being the most important, but I was empty. And I got this new, this new sponsor, and, you know, I'm just going to call spiritual gangster. It's basically somebody who guides me, you know, is ahead of me kind of thing. And the screen popped up and I was just bursting into tears. And I said, I don't understand. I've gotten everything back and I'm empty. She just looked at me and she went, sweetie, you need to go help another alcoholic. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's that easy. So I ran. I ran out there, and the first opportunity to help someone and to work with another woman, I grabbed it, and it truly is the most joyful place to be. Present. It fills me up, and it doesn't matter what I'm going through in my life. It is the antidote. Service in general, but service to McLean, service to you, service to whomever, service in work. You know, to put myself on the back burner. Not that I'm not important. You know, I am. God loves me too. I am loved. But in service, it is the answer to all my problems. Or all my challenges, or all my emptiness that may occur. So anyway,
I'm super excited to be celebrating this day with you.
That's a really long story.
No, it's good. One of the things, again, one of the reasons I'm asking some of these more open-ended questions is to show the journey of how your mind now works and how it used to work. Right? You were at one time you were very convinced that you were unworthy, you were unlovable, that you were not going to have a future. Like you, now you know that's the opposite of that. Like everything that was just said, like there's the polar opposite is that truth. And the reason I like going through the journey with you is because a lot of times when I'm doing some coaching or whatever, or we're doing the huddle or whatever, is because that perspective shifts.
100%.
As the perspective shifts, so does the outcome. You know, I've always said from stage or whatever that the greatest purpose in life you ever have is serving the person you used to be. And that is a life truth, 100%. Whether it's in a program, whether it's in the construction industry or the sales industry or like going through a divorce, like all of that stuff is, there are people that have been there and done that. And in theory, the quicker we can get to them, the quicker we can alleviate their suffering, the quicker they learn the lessons and the quicker they go on to alleviate the suffering of someone else, you know? And I've always enjoyed that. The other thing too, with your sobriety and being your friend and knowing you as long as I have, I've gotten to witness part of the journey.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. And which has been kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, there's been some, I'm sure there's been some moments and, you know, but it's also really cool moments, right? Talk to me a little about maybe some of the other concepts that you're kind of floating around in your book a little bit, maybe just one or two of them, because one of the things I have to, again, being your friend and knowing you as long as I have, I know when the book comes out, it's going to be epic. Yeah. Because it's going to be real. Yeah. Right. There's nothing about Maddi that's not real. You don't put up a front. You are authentic to your core. Right. And I think people need more of that. I think people will trust people like that. I think they'll see those people as a guide, right? They're gonna see guides and people that are honest with the story. They're gonna see the whole what is it what they call them, the gurus or the whatever, you know, I'm perfect and you're not. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I think those days are gone. Yes. And as a result, I feel like, again, that when this work does come out, it's going to be profound to a lot of people. I know you've told me 1,000 times, well, if it just helps one, I can tell as an author myself, we all say that. And then it helps the one. Right. And then it helps the two, then the 3, then the 10, then the 100. And then you're like, holy cow. It's amazing. Like something cool just really happened.
That's amazing.
Right. Give me one other like really, really important thing from your work that you've done that will likely be in the book that you feel like, and again, I want you to picture, if we're serving the person we used to be, I promise I'm getting to the actual question in a second. If we're serving the person we used to be, then the person watching this show right now or listening to this show right now is struggling or has struggled or is in hopefully the early stages of recovery or has struggled with an addiction or something along those lines, right? So from that perspective, talk to them right now about one or two of the things that you have learned that have actually absolutely changed your life.
You're going to make me cry.
It's going to be okay. You're safe here.
Yeah. The best days of your life are ahead of you. The best days of your life are ahead of you. There is one requirement. Let's just be honest. And, you know, there are...
Honest with who?
With yourself and with God and with another human being. These things are vital. They're life and death. Your honesty will either save your life or keep you out or take you back out through dishonesty. I would say there are certain kind of pillars that need to be in place. And one of the most important is finding, and whether it's whatever program of recovery, there's lots of different programs of recovery out there. But having a mentor, spiritual guide, somebody that has the same story or similar story to you, being able to tell them everything with no holdback whatsoever, is crucial. Just absolutely crucial. And that is daily maintenance too. The other big part of it is being able to be honest with yourself enough to take an inventory of your life, to be able to go back as far as you can remember. And I mean like, you know, 3, 4, 5, however old.
So when you're looking at taking an inventory, what types of things are you looking for?
You're looking at anything that disturbed you. Whether it was something you did, whether it was something somebody else did, anything that disturbed you from as far back as you can remember and get it down in black and white. Yeah. And what's going to happen is you're going to have, you're going to sit down with someone that's been through the same thing as you, and you're going to read through it. And again, this process has been given to me. This is not like any kind of original process, but through this process, you will write everything that's ever disturbed you. Obviously that's what happened. So who's involved, what happened, what it disturbed in you. Very important. What buttons did it press? What did it disturb in you? And, your part.
Yeah.
What it disturbed in you, extremely important. Your part, not the other person's part. Even if the other person did something part and there's wrong to it, it's not black and white. But your part, did you put yourself in that position?
Yeah.
It's easy to say, I had, one relationship specifically where I was just angry, and, I could not, they treated me this way. They did this, they did that. It's not right. And, I sat there when I had done my inventory, and I said, there's no, I don't know what to say. I haven't got a part in this. There's no part. And she said, really, Maddi? Really?
There's that honesty again.
And then I was like, she said, really? And I said, I stayed. I stayed. Because I didn't think I was worthy enough. Now, does that make me a bad person, or is that whatever? No. It's just my part.
Yeah, it was just an event.
It's just an event. It's just my part. Yeah. And what my part does is free me in that relationship. It's like, that tie is cut. I'm no longer a victim to this thing that happened or to that person. So the inventory, and I say I always say go deep or go home. Like, we're going deep. I'm really bad at small talk. I like to go deep. A lot of people say it's not that deep. And I'm like, yes, it is. Anyway. Most
things that happen in your life are driven by subconscious, not conscious.
Right.
And until you actually understand how to uproot how the subconscious was built, it's almost impossible to change your behaviors, which means you don't get to change your results.
Right.
You're
stuck.
So as we're kind of walking down this journey a little bit, and we're going through the inventory process, we're identifying different things. How important is it to not judge yourself along the way? Because I find that, at least when I was going through my own healing journey, which took over a decade, if not more, I would judge myself with either guilt or shame or some form of condemnation or whatever in fact, I would judge myself quicker than I would judge a situation.
Right.
Like, I would beat myself up to pieces.
Yes.
Right. So how important, or not even how important, how do we avoid that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good question. So if I'm sat doing the inventory by myself, I'm going to be stuck in, I relived, as I wrote my inventory, which, I don't suggest this, but I relived everything that had ever happened to me.
I would actually argue that it's actually not a bad thing.
No, maybe not a bad thing.
It just sucks in the moment. But it gets it out.
It gets it out.
Yeah.
But that's why, sharing this, the key to putting the bat down is to sit with someone who says, I did that. I've done that. Yeah. You think that's bad?
Let me share another story.
Let me tell you a little story about a little while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's in the connection with another person that the bat can be put down.
Yeah.
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 It's in the connection.
I'm also curious to know if the scariest part of the journey is actually telling it publicly. So I've watched you obviously go from being cautious with part of your story to being increasingly more and more vocal with your story. Yeah. I assume that getting right and real with yourself was number one, and then getting right and real with those that you love was number two, and now you're getting right and real with the world. I would think, and I don't know for this experience, which is why I'm asking the question, what can be done? Because you got a beautiful family. You and Mac are awesome, right? You guys communicate well. You guys like really... Exactly. Well, I might pull her on the show just for fun.
That'd be fantastic.
So, but assume there was a time, and I'm going to assume because I don't know for sure, right? That you had to have an honest conversation with Mac.
Yeah.
Right. And share, Mom was this way. I'm really working on it. Like, the reason I'm bringing it up is I feel like a lot of people, maybe they could be listening or watching right now and they know something needs to change, but they're terrified
of what people will think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So walk me down that journey, just a itty bit.
I mean, you want to live or die. Your pride your pride wants to kill you. Or if you're an alcoholic and an addict, your pride wants to kill you. It will stop you from asking for help. It will keep you from being honest. Pride, one of the 7 deadly sins. And when I say sin, let me just be clear. I mean, anything that cuts me off from a higher power. I mean, thou said, which whatever anybody believes, is fine. I just, pride is, you just got to set that aside. Yeah. And there's nothing like, like I said, the gift of desperation to put you in a place of surrender where it is either live or die. Yeah.
I would even argue that the moment of surrender is your lifeline.
It is. 100%.
Right. That's the moment you have your last choice, so to speak, to shift this thing. And it doesn't have to be as serious as an addiction or a divorce or a friendship ending or a business failure. It could just be everyday life. Yeah. Right. Are you surrendered to doing something different? Hey, Mac, you want to come on the show for a minute? Come on, just cop a squat with your mom for a minute. All right, young lady, welcome to the show, Mac.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So today's a special day for your mom. How cool is it to be celebrating with your mom?
I love it. Every single year, it's so much fun. I love it. It's like a birthday.
Yeah. Are you okay sharing a little bit about your story, a little bit about when your mom kind of watching your mom go through the journey? So, what was the moment in time that you realized she was serious?
Well, I remember, how old was I?
5.5.
I was 5, and I remember being at my mom's house. My dad was there, and she got in the car to go to the airport or something. I remember her driving away, and I was just like, oh, I'll see her soon. Or I don't know. I was 5 and I don't know what was going on. And then I had to stay with my grandma on the Outer Banks, the one that she met. And she didn't, I was confused. I didn't know what was happening. And then I don't remember, but I was told that I was I was very sad, and my dad was in Hawaii or New York or something. And so he had to come back from his trip and come see me because I wasn't in a good place. And then I was in first grade. Everything was fine. I was so happy that my mom was getting help. I didn't really experience, I was fine. And then I moved to Raleigh, and she came back, and it was Christmas, and I was sleeping, and she came in my room, and she tapped me on, she woke me up.
And she had done all of this artwork
in her room.
The entire, I kid you not, the entire room was just covered in all of this artwork and these beautiful pictures, for me coming home.
Yeah, and then we slept. Were you there Christmas morning?
I got in your bed.
Yeah, we got in my bed, and she just slept there, and I felt, but, I really don't remember much of the, before she went, and,
Thank God.
And then I remember we visited you, twice, I think. And it was so much fun. She had a few friends that were in the home and the
program,
in rehab, and they were so fun, and they were so funny. And I just remember laying in her bed. She told me this story of how my dad and her met.
That's cool.
It was so funny. And then and I mostly just remember after what happened when she came back. Yeah, we lived in this weird lady's basement, but it was so fun, and it was.
We had a microwave. We didn't even have a kitchen.
And, we didn't have a kitchen, and then
you only need a hot pocket.
Anyway.
Yeah. You need a hot pocket. Yeah.
And then I have friends that I used to go to her meetings and just kind of sit there, and I thought most parents that would be oh I don't know, but. About that, but then literally my best friend, she would come and sit with me, and she'd go to the meetings, and we'd play around in the hallways, and
it's awesome.
I know my mom didn't want me to
have to go through
that, but that didn't
It wasn't nowhere near, nowhere near scary for you.
Like, it didn't cause anything. Like, if I even overheard someone's story, it wasn't like, it didn't affect me. Like, it affected me positively. I was like, oh, like, that's really cool. Like all these people have persevered through so much.
See, there it is. The lesson right there. I love it.
That's why, like, and then, like, sometimes I would overhear her story and I just be like, oh my God, that's my mom. like, wow, that's really cool. Like, it doesn't, like, even if, like, oh, like, yeah, my parents are divorced, but they're good friends. Like, oh, my mom went through all this, but, like, 7 years sober, like, that's wild. Like, that's crazy. And, like, it's like, kind of when I was sitting over there and I heard you talking about, like, the black and white and how, like the half glass full, like, half glass empty. It's like, I'm trying to be more like half glass full. And it's like, all this has happened, but, like, if any of this didn't happen, it's just like, where would we be, in a basement of that weird lady's house? Like, where would we be? Like, now we have our own house and it's so nice. And we have our dog Lawless. And like everything just, it's really nice to see.
It's awesome. Well, the next question might make your mom cry. So you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Give me some of the traits that you admire most about your mom.
Oh gosh. My favorite traits right now, she's so funny. She's odd sometimes. But she makes me so happy. Like, she's just so positive and open and honest, and obviously she's persevered through
a lot.
Gosh knows how, just a lot.
Would you say a lot?
Yeah, and she's just like, she's a role model for anybody, and even if they can't take it or they don't understand or they've never been in this situation or had anybody that in their life that has struggled with addiction or anything, like, even for, like, she's there for you. She's every, like, you're literally, like.
So what types of things has she taught you about being a woman? Like, a really, like, a good woman?
Like, that don't settle for the, like, you can always be better. You can always, you don't take the things that, like, if someone's mean to you, if someone's trying to put you down, if someone or something is pushing you, like, underwater, you're, like, strong enough to get up. You're not gonna drown. You're not gonna fail. Like, even if you might be, like, down for a second, there's always the ups and downs, but you just have to, even if you struggle, you'll be okay in the end. Like, you're gonna get back up.
Yeah.
And I really like that because, like, I don't know, like, a lot of people struggle, but when there's downs, it's the comfort of knowing there's an up. And it's so, like,
listen to you dropping the mic drops. Wow.
Yeah, everybody loves a comeback, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she's been saying that a lot lately.
She's had a few, just a little struggle at school, just with a specific class. And I just said to her, you know, there was a little bit of stress around it. And I just said, look, first of all, we're just happy we're alive in this house. That's what we always say. And we've got everything, you know, that we just have to ask for help, which we did. We got a tutor for this particular class, and everyone loves a comeback.
Yep.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
That is so good.
We're not worried over here.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah. That's so good. Well, your mom's also, like, uber successful at what she does.
Yeah.
She keeps getting recruited by all kinds of people.
All these people have been calling her and be like, oh, come work for me.
Yeah. So I'm curious. And again, we're using the behind the scenes stuff just for fun. Yeah. What do you think makes her so successful at what she does? You already used odds. You can't do that.
I was going to say the oddness.
Her British accent.
It's true.
No, it's so funny. Like, everybody likes her because she's, like, British. And obviously other things.
No,
but it's
true.
Like,
it'd have to be the same thing if I went over to the UK and started talking Southern talk.
Yeah, so, they'd be like I just went to England this summer, and they were all like, oh, like, she's an American. I was like, yep.
She said, no, it's just an American accent.
Yeah.
I'm faking it.
But I think just how kind she is. And, like, you know, most people in their job, they're strict or very closed off, and they just want to get the money, get the work done. But she's not. I mean, obviously it's nice to have money, but it's she's doing her job and she's happy in it and she's having fun. And when she has it, like you had a job and you weren't happy in it and you didn't stay there because you just needed the money and you just needed to get the job done. You found one that made you more happy.
So what did that teach you?
It taught me just like I said before, like even if something's not good, like if I have a friend that's not good or mean or just something, like why are you still there? Like just, you can find better people, you can find a better job, you can do the things that make you happy and surround yourself with people that make you happy.
Anytime you ever have a question about whether or not you've done your part.
She's done her part, and sometimes, like, she knows she's done her part, but, like, you know, every once in a while there's doubt. Same with me. But, like, I'm just like, what are you saying? Like, what do you mean? Like,
well, sometimes, you know, I'll check in with her because, you know,
we see most parents don't check in with their kids, though.
They don't?
They don't check in. No, it's not normal.
It's not normal.
No, normal is give them their phone and give them a Nintendo or a PlayStation and just ignore them.
That's why.
And I don't think people do it intentionally. I just think they have busy lives and they're worried about this and they're worried about that. And they're like, you know, so they're making noise, give them this. And so you can, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. You're very intentional. Since I've known you, I would actually say this is one of her other qualities why she's been so successful in her sales career, which you do quite well. And that is that you're very intentional. You're very service oriented. You know, it's one of the reasons why that we've even asked you before to even help us out from time to time with the live events and online platforms, all kinds of stuff, because we know our core is we want to help people. We unfortunately know we have to run a business to pay for the stuff to then help the people. Right. So that took me a while to kind of figure out that's okay to charge people for stuff. But we also want people that represent us in a way that is mindful and heart-giving. And I would dare say that's where you really do really well. So I'm curious to know I'm going to switch back to your mom for a second. I'm curious to know for you, was that something that came organically? Was that something that you had to be taught? Was it trained? Like, at what point did you finally say, I'm going to serve with the greatest effort I can? Because it comes out every single time I see you work. And put that mic over closer to you.
Yeah, that's a really, you know, it's interesting because it's interesting. So I think that there's a couple of things.
I've also noticed since you sat beside her, she's relaxed a little bit.
My little baby. So there's a couple of things there. One is I think there is just, it's my nature. I think there's a nature to me that is loves people. And so my mom, Wilma, she is.
I've never heard the name Wilma outside of Fred Flintstone.
Fred Flintstone. Yeah. Fred and Wilma. That's what they call my dad's James, but we call him Fred sometimes. But so I'll call her Mum, not Wilma, because you know she's my mom, and she just has a way about her that's quite magical, and she can make you feel like the only person in the room, and it truly comes, you know, from just this magical place. She has this. She's a hairdresser, but she also, you know, helps a friend, and, you know, in a gift store. And, people flood to see her she's got all of these customers that every time they need a card or a present, they'll come specifically to see Wilma. And, you know, she just is warm. She's warm and, so I think that, you know, if there's one thing that she passed to me, I think that, I'm not saying I'm magical, but I'm saying that I have the warmth that Wilma has. And I believe that she gave that to me. And I watched her as a child be that way. She would say, it's our way. It's our ways. And I think that I love hospitality and to make people, so I like to have my girls over. Okay. And I like to wrap them in blankets and give them tea.
That's the UK in you.
That is the UK in me. But I just love, and I think that it also, you know, it transfers. So all of that transfers, that love of people, want to nurture people, want them to feel heard, seen and loved. And even in a professional atmosphere, of course, there is a line. I'm not going to wrap my clients up in blankets and give them to you. But
unless you're selling them blankets.
Unless I'm selling them blankets.
Yeah.
Maybe that's another idea. But I think all of that transfers, doesn't it? You know, that transfers and some of it's nature. And I think the other piece to that is, when I first got into sales, there was a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. It was, make the sale, I need to get paid. And then I wasn't enjoying it. And then all of a sudden I realized that I wasn't enjoying it and that it was all about me. And when I shifted to maximum service, I started getting called the people connector. Because whether I was...
You have connected me to like 16 people. So
I love connecting people.
That does make a lot of sense.
I'm like, oh my God, you need to meet Stephen. Or, oh my gosh, you need to meet whomever.
Yeah.
And so I love doing that. So what would happen is I let go of my own agenda and I'd start to meet people and I'd be open and present and curious. And they would start talking and I'd be like, oh my gosh, they need to meet this person. And it might help their business. And so I started to do this type of thing and so I loved and started to enjoy.
In certain industries you get paid for that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I've probably, interesting.
Yeah, so I'll tell you this in the financial world.
Yeah.
When someone needs capital and you help them find capital or you introduce them to it's standard customary procedure to have a finder's fee.
Oh, really?
Of 2%.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and some of these deals could be $20-30 million, so 2% is big money.
Oh my gosh.
So, you're going to start thinking about connecting people a little bit differently.
I love connecting people. I mean, I just love it. Even if I didn't get paid, I mean, that sounds wonderful. That sounds wonderful, but I'm also hyper aware that the money wouldn't bring me the happiness.
Oh, no, I think you're exactly right.
That being said, could I do amazing things with that type of money? Yeah.
Probably.
If God...
probably. Based on our financial coaching and stuff, we've done a little bit back and forth. Yeah, we know for sure you could do some good things with the money, for sure.
Yes. So, steward, not owner.
All right, back to you, young lady.
Yes.
What is the best part about today, specifically, for you as her daughter?
Like every year or just like today?
Well, today's 7 years. Today's the whole creation mentality, but... like what happens in your mom that just excites you? Just
how far she's come and every year it's like something new. Like it's like she's moved, she's went up a level. She's like something good has happened. Like it's this, and then now this year it's moved up, and now she's on a podcast, and now she's like.
This is not an ordinary podcast, by the way. This gets some reach.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I'm so
oh my God! Like she's. Like, it's 1 year we're celebrating and we're so happy. We're watching some alien documentary with ice cream and pizza and we're just laughing and smiling and everything's good. And then it's like, we're going to definitely probably do that tonight, but plus it's just like, it's just how far we've come and then how far we're gonna go, and how far she's gonna go. Yeah. So it's just
and how she's paving the way for you.
Yeah, and
I love that she said we.
Well, of course she's gonna say we. Y'all are a we.
Yeah, we are one.
Yeah, we are one. We are one. Well,
your we is a one.
You mean lawless? We're one. The
Trinity.
That's what I was trying to say. The Trinity.
Well, a couple things. So I want to first of all thank you for be willing to come on like literally a second's notice.
It's okay.
Because here's I've been kind of guiding this in an interesting way intentionally. Because I believe there are people watching and listening right now that are on the early stage of, can I ever change my life? Can I ever do it? Is it worth it? What about my family? Is it, all this kind of stuff. And I feel like one of the things we've done today is we've taken them on a journey of, yes, you can have a lot of pain, you can have a lot of suffering, a lot of surrender, a lot of hope, a lot of this, and then you end up with this.
Yeah.
You end this beautiful thing called life, this beautiful thing called unity, like hope. Like you guys are full of optimism. And it's funny, since you and I have been friends, we've had numerous conversations about some difficult things at different times, right? Yeah. But you always reframe it. You always like, well, I just tell this is where the odd thing comes in, right?
Let me see you do an impression.
Yeah. I don't know if I can do the impression. That I can't do the accent. I can't do the accent. But what I see you do is you're like, well, if you just consider it this way.
Yeah.
Like it's so second nature now. And to know that wasn't the case 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes to show people that a lot can change in a very short amount of time if you're just open to it, And I want to applaud you. Happy rebirth day.
Aww.
Yeah. Happy rebirth day. This has been fun for me. Hope it's been fun for you guys. Yeah, he's good. We do have to get you cracking on that book.
Yeah.
And I know you're writing because you send me screenshots of pages every now and again.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know I've connected you a couple of our mutual friends now, Amberly and a few other folks that are interested in helping you kind of keep that going. So one of the things that's interesting about the show is that a lot of our guests have established platforms.
I know. I couldn't believe you asked me.
That's the good part about having a friend that's watched you on your journey. And this is where I think it's really intentional. You have protected your integrity like it's going out of style in a good way. You're very focused. You're very thoughtful. It doesn't matter if the world is saying this, that, or the other thing. You respond with grace, integrity. You're like, I know who I am now. I know who I am, And as I'm walking through this journey, even some of the folks that we've had on the show that may have larger platforms or whatever, a lot of them are in the middle of that journey, I would say. Even today, now, I'm still like, I know more about who I am. I know more about what value I bring. But your level of certainty is fairly contagious with folks, from my perspective. I say all that to say that we have to find a place to send people to, right? So, I know you haven't been using your social for publications and whatever, right? And I know were books and it leads to websites and everything like that. Yeah. I've spoken over your life a few times that I think you're going to be doing this, this, and this. And I know you're like, no, God, no. Please, right? But I would tell you as a servant of the Most High myself, one of the things that I would tell you is it starts off small and then over time you end up appreciating the platform you're given to change lives. So all of that long-winded response to say, where are we sending people to? Where can they find out more about you and kind of and watch your journey even, just to kind of be honest about it?
Gosh. So I'm working on the book. And it will have, so at the end of each chapter, there are tools. There is, kind of the gift, the story, because, that's how we grow. That's how we connect through the stories. So I do share the stories kind of in there that are pertinent to the tools. And then there's a recovery journal as well that I'm putting together. And that kind of has prompts that help you do all the things that the tools give you. So that's coming together. I haven't got any. All
right, so I'm gonna give you an action item. I need you to help me with this. Okay. I need you guys to go home today.
Yes.
And create an Instagram account for your mom's developing thought leadership.
Oh my gosh.
I got it.
Well. Okay.
Right, and then one of the things that I would like you to do, as for Shay, because I'm putting her on the spot for fun.
Yeah.
Right. Because I see potential in people, and I good, bad, or indifferent, I push them towards it. Okay. I would like you to get a 30-second clip of her every single day of her just giving you a piece of wisdom and advice to you. Aww. That becomes the content for the channel. Okay. And then as the book shapes up and as the journal shapes up, now you have a place where you can start to build an audience. Because I know that your Instagram page and stuff like that is personal to you guys specifically.
Yeah.
So we want to separate that.
Yeah.
But I do think it's time.
You think it's time?
I think it's time to start just sharing your heart. And I feel like you're going to find your tribe pretty quickly.
I can't wait for your next event.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
Yeah.
A lot of things changing and moving, but it's not too far off.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Because that way we have a place to send people to.
Right.
Now, fortunately for you,
yes,
we record these before we make them live. Okay? So your new homework assignment after that is done is to send Kyle from our team the Instagram handle you guys decide to use.
Okay, great.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that way, when people come out, they'll look in the show notes, guys. Look in the show notes. The link will be there.
Yeah.
You guys will have a place to start building your tribe. Because I have a feeling your radical honesty and radical transparency, however quirky.
However odd.
As she
I
would
love
say.
the word odd.
She's odd. However quirky is going to be a beautiful thing to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And as you know about being around myself and our team a lot, we're all about hope.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you've been through. Doesn't matter. None of that stuff is that stuff is completely irrelevant to me. I had recently a friend of mine reach out and like, well, you know, I've done this, and I've done this. I'm like, so what? They're like, well, but my parents, my friends, they've all said, I'm like, and? Well, that's got nothing to do with your future.
Right.
Absolutely nothing to do with it.
Right.
And I think you guys, especially doing the tag team approach today, have managed to give out some hope and inspiration. I really do. And, you know, I will tell you from personal experience that this type of stuff gets easier the more you do it. And I'd love for your mom to find other podcasts and stuff at least once a month, just like every so often. So maybe you can become her business manager.
You mean other podcasts to go on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, if you have a podcast that you think Maddi would be great on, I invite you to let us know and we'll put you in contact with Maddi because I feel like it's time for her to step out on faith and start encouraging people at scale. Because I think you can do it. I really do.
Thank you so much.
I really do. That's why I've invested so much time and energy in your development and kind of hanging out with you over the last several years is because you've always had a powerful story. You haven't always been willing to share it. Yeah. And now that you're willing to share it, I think it's time to use it for the best good.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think that's incredible. You are, just been such a blessing. And who knew walking in, just walking into an appointment, that day when we met, that it would open such an incredible door. And your friendship means the world to me. And
you always have it.
You've spoken into my life, like just so much encouragement.
Times.
I mean, so much encouragement. And I've been like, really? Okay. Well, I'm not ready yet. So I'm not ready for that. I didn't, to be honest, I think the last 2 years, again, not to go backwards too far, but there was other areas of my life I needed to get honest about, which enabled me to have the stability to start to experience and maybe see a little bit of what you see. And
this is why I think you're closer than you, again, it's like the whole rear mirror thing. You're closer than you appear.
Oh, I love that.
Right?
I love that.
Objects are closer than they appear. There are a lot of folks that struggle with a lot of things. And there are not a lot of folks that will come from a humble place to teach about how to recover or build stability. And on today's 7-year rebirth day,
thank you.
I think today's a good day to start the next leg of the journey.
I do too.
I'm super proud of you as a friend. Super proud of both of you guys for doing the show together. It's been an absolute gift. And I hope you guys enjoy being Unstoppable.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thank you.
Lots of love to you and all the team.
I hope you liked that video. And if you did, make sure you check out this next video right here.
Something is talking to me. I've said universe, I've said source. I believe in God. I do. Something is aligning with me. And as I'm saying it, I'm getting choked up. And it feels good. And it feels right.